Hi, I'm Gary Forkum, and this is my wife Melissa. We're the owners of Fork's Drum Closet in Nashville for 36 years. I think when I first met Irwin was at 1987 Percussive Art Society. That was the show that was in Nashville. And I'd been doing some business with him, but he came over and we hung out for a while, and he asked me to sell from his booth and I think take the extra stuff that he had left over, and that became a long tradition of every year we would go to the Percussive Art Society and sell Irwin Berg products through our booth. And Irwin would be right there with us, selling $25 bags and helping me write tickets, and that began our friendship.
Just great guys. I guess I didn't start at the shop until about 94 because I had worked outside of the business, and just immediately it was just great friendliness and speaking with them. And I first met them at a percussion arts show, and I went to help and was overwhelmed. They were just such great guys.
The story of Willie Berg and Mr. Humes. Well, Irwin told this story to us a few times over at dinner, and Willie was a working musician in Chicago. He was, I think he was a clarinet player. I know he played woodwinds, and he sold reeds and mutes and stuff. And he knew Glenn Miller, who had just been appointed as the head of all the armed forces Army bands, and needed somebody to supply the band's reeds. And he went to Willie Berg and said, "You've got the contract." So Willie was barely in business at this time. He was just kind of making them and selling them around Chicago. And so he went into a club one night, was sitting at a bar, and was telling this fella that he got this big contract, but he didn't know how he was going to pull it off because he didn't have any money. So after a few conversations and a few drinks, Mr. Humes, I think, handed him $1,000 and said, "Here's your startup money." So Willie said, "I'll have a contract drawn up and I'll come see you in a couple of days and we'll make this official." So he did, and went by the boarding house, I think, that Mr. Humes was living at, and he knocked on the door, and a lady came and said, "Mr. Humes is dead." And Willie tried to find any relatives to him to honor the contract, but he never could. So he put Humes and Berg as the name of the company to honor Mr. Humes and that money that he gave him to get started. It was always about friendship and support more so than the business. He obviously made the best product in the business without a doubt, and we didn't carry any other cases besides his. Other companies would call and say, "What can we do to get our cases in your store?" I said, "You got to call Irwin and get permission from him, because otherwise I'm not going to do it." But he made the best stuff. He took care of us. Yeah, it was a friendship. It was more than just we were his suppliers. He cared about us, and he'd done anything for us.